What's up, everybody? Marcos Villegas here. Fight Up TV live chat. Sorry about being 5 minutes late, but a lot of stuff happened over the weekend in the world of combat sports. I'm going to wait for you guys to trickle in right now while I look at some Akihiro Gono entrance video. I'm telling you, for in terms of entrances, to this day, Akihiro Gono has been my favorite guy to look at the past entrance. Denki Sudo is another close second, but I don't know. I always liked watching Akihiro Gono entrances because they crack me the F up. If you guys, after this, go on YouTube, look up Akihiro Gono Fun Pack, and it's hilarious. It's like a compilation of all his entrances that he's had over his career, mostly in Pride and all that, but I'm going to go ahead and close that out. I'm going to try to simulcast this on Facebook as well. So let's see how this goes, because I haven't gone live on Facebook ever. So we'll see how it is. But all right, there's a good amount of you guys in here already. Welcome to our Fight Up TV live chat, as we're simulcasting not only on YouTube but on Facebook as well. A lot of stuff happened over this weekend. We got, in the world of boxing, Deontay Wilder demolishing Bermane Stiverne in one freaking round. I was not expecting that. I thought it would be a lot longer of a fight than that. But man, one round, dude. What about you guys? You guys surprised by that? Very surprised that it happened in one round. Sean Porter beat Adrian Granados. Granados showed a lot of heart in that fight. But like I was mentioning to people when that fight was announced, I just felt that Granados is just too small of a guy to be fighting someone like Sean Porter, man. And Sean Porter, Jesus, I'd hate to fight Sean Porter if I was a professional fighter, to be honest, because that guy's relentless. Like, he's on you like fucking white on rice. It's terrible, man. That's a tough fight. And then Sergey Lipinets going up against the Japanese guy, whose name coincidentally happens to be Akihiro Kondo. And I was just watching Akihiro Gono, so that's pretty funny. In the world of MMA, man, talk about craziness that happened over the weekend in MMA. Jesus! I was wrong on all my picks except for GSP. I thought GSP would win, and he did win, getting the submission win over Michael Bisping in round number 3. In the co-main event, TJ Dillashaw knocks out Cody Garbrandt, and I thought, honestly, that Cody would win that fight. I thought it would be a very similar fight to the Cruz fight, because TJ moves a lot, moves in and out, so I thought style-wise it'd be very similar. And, of course, Rose Namajunas getting the upset win over Joana Champion. I was surprised there, too. I was not expecting that, but I'm going to be honest, and you guys might be saying, like, I'm BSing or I'm just making this up. I felt, though, out of those 3 fights, if there was to be a big upset, because I wasn't thinking the Bisping GSP fight would be a big upset. I was fairly confident that GSP would win. But I said, I could see Rose winning that fight. And if... Hello, Facebook. How's it going? It's Will. Hey, we're doing this on YouTube as well. Will, what's up? Like I was doing simulcast. Like I was mentioning, though, if there was one fight that I had to pick an upset, and I would not be surprised if an upset did happen, it's that Rose fight, because I think Rose is extremely underrated in terms of her striking. So let's jump right in this, man. I jotted down some notes on my observations over the fight, or the fights that happened over the weekend. I was actually at a wedding on Saturday, but I saw all the fights via my phone. Big ups and congrats to Anthony and Jessica for getting married. Gary M, man, yeah, it was one of the best fights ever, man. I am drinking Kona Red Hawaiian Vanilla Cold Brew Coffee. This stuff F's you up, man. I'm going to be feeling it probably in 10 minutes. I'm super caffeine sensitive, but I was lagging today, and I'm like borderline ADD, and caffeine is the only thing outside of those damn pills. What are those pills called? I forget. Joanna. All right. Those damn pills. Not a fucking Adderall. There we go. I refuse to take Adderall because I've seen other people take Adderall and it just gets them like super depressed or super moody, very emotional, and I'm already like sensitive as it is to medicine, and I don't want to do that. So caffeine is my focus pill when I need to get shit done. So yeah, I might be wigging out on you guys in the course of this. But let's get started, okay? Here's my notes and my observations. And yes, someone asked, did I get lit on Saturday? I did, but I had to stop myself when we got around 1 or 2 in the morning. I had to start sobering up, which I did. So let's go. All right. So like I mentioned earlier, I had this weird feeling that if there was an upset on Saturday night, it would be Rose. And I don't know. Sometimes I get these weird gut feelings about fights. And here's the other thing too. It's the fights that I always miss watching live are the ones, for some freaking reason, the craziest freaking stuff happens. And once again, I missed all the events. I had to watch them via my phone. And maybe I'll do that, Pepe. But I had to watch over my phone, and all this craziness starts happening. First, I get an alert that Joanna loses. And I'm like scrambling my phone where I'm at. I get like no reception whatsoever because I'm like in the hills. So I'm like struggling to get to places that have reception. And then I see what happened in that fight. The reason why I say I'm not surprised, and you know what? I did watch the Bivol fight as well, George. So I'm glad you brought that up. Let me write that in because I have something to say about him. Where's my pen? I figured me writing notes conveys my points I want to make with you guys a lot easier. So I wrote Bivol down. This is because of you. And another one. 2 people asking about Bivol. All right. So I've always felt that she has very underrated striking, Rose. And I was wondering, okay, what set up the knockdown? Why is it that Joanna got caught twice with the same punch? What happened there to cause that? And it's kind of a theme of what happened in the UFC over the course of those 3 fights. And I think it's a very important lesson for MMA fighters. And I'll get to that point. But if you look at the replay when the first knockdown happened in that fight, Rose fainted. Joanna went to check the punches and then left her open, and she got clipped with a hook. When it comes to that situation, given my experience with boxing and seeing that happen with boxing, it's just you got set up perfectly in the right way that it forced you to leave your hands down, or they feinted at you and it's very difficult to counter feint a feint, to be honest. Someone feints you just you gotta be ready, like reflex wise, for the punch, or you gotta set up a trap where they're gonna feint, and you take a step back, and then you counter that counteraction. So that feint is what set up the knockdown. And then she goes ahead and she gets hit with that same hook again. It's because she had her right hand very, very low, and she's able to get caught with that. Overall, though, I felt that Joanna was doing really well in the fight. And so was Rose, though, too. But the thing with Joanna that I've noticed is it's a lot of arm punches in a way. She's very fast with her flurries, but she's not, I could tell, like, she's not super planted in her punches. Like, she's not getting the full weight behind them. And, you could tell when she lands a punch, it's more of like a quick tap as opposed to like a thudding power punch. And if that girl had just a little bit more power, she'd be wrecking these chicks left and right by knockout. It'd be really bad. But I don't know if you guys have noticed, is when the strikes were happening, Joanna topped. What's up, Iceco? But Joanna tapped, and I think, that made me think, all right, so when Shogun fought John Jones, he tapped due to strikes. And the big question that I had with Shogun after that fight was, where would his mindset be? Because Joanna, when you look at her, she's a very confident woman. She's just oozes that confidence, and it's taken as arrogance by a lot of people. But I've seen fighters show that type of confidence before. And the interesting thing is this. When they lose, half of the time they're not the same anymore. And the other part is that, they're able to swallow their pride. Their confidence isn't shaken, and they're able to go ahead and still be successful. The reason why sometimes the fighters that have that confidence broken, aren't able to be as dominant as before, is because of that. Their confidence is broken. They don't believe in themselves. They start questioning themselves. Before an event like that were to happen to them, they felt like no one could literally touch them. No one could hurt them. No one could do anything to them. They're the best in the world. And this is like a singed in their mind belief. And when they get caught or when they get beat, they now have that in the back of their mind, that doubt, that question, like, hey, you know what? I'm not this unbeatable fighter like I was before. So it's very interesting. While they're doing construction in this complex that I'm at right now, and yeah, perfect timing, right? And they start with their stupid song and everything. Give me one. Oh, God, this is so embarrassing. Let me go ahead and shut this door down so this is not being heard in the background. I apologize, guys. Forgiveness, please. Hold on. All right. Settle that. Okay. So it's interesting to see where Joanna's mindset's going to be after this fight, and if this loss is going to affect her the way she fights or the way she perceives herself in a fight. And I don't know. To me, you know, she tapped. I expected her to just go out on her shield. I didn't expect her to tap the way she did due to those strikes. So that was very surprising to me. Now, the other funny thing is Halloween just finished, and I've been saying this the whole damn week. Rose Namajunas looks like 11 from Stranger Things. And if you haven't seen Stranger Things, it's a great show. I binge watched the whole season, the whole 2 seasons. But when you look at her, she's like the grown-up version of 11 from Stranger Things. 11 can fight. Rose can fight. I don't know, just a random little side thing that I'm putting out there. That she does look like that character. Now, here's my question to you guys that are watching. Should there be an immediate rematch for Rose and Joanna, or should she go on and face other people? So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys chime in on that. Let me know if there should be an immediate rematch between the two, or she should go on to fights, and Joanna should have maybe a tune-up fight, then go into a rematch against Rose. So let's go ahead and filter your guys' questions in. Hi, Facebook. How's it going? We're also simulcasting on YouTube as well. I'm trying out this Facebook Live. Of course, you know, our Facebook is not as popular as our YouTube, but I want to welcome. We got 3 people on Facebook. And Levy's one of them. What's up, Levy? And what's up, Will? How's it going? You guys could always go on to the YouTube channel to go ahead and see this live stream as well. So, people were saying rematch. They should rematch. I think it would make sense. Even though if I was her management, maybe have you want to get a tune-up fight to kind of see where she's at mentality-wise, and then go into the championship fight. But I'm seeing a lot of rematch right away. Rematch. George Rodriguez says he wants to see Rose in other fights. Dark Cloud Entertainment. Joanna deserves a rematch, but if I were her, I'd wait and let Jessica Andrade smash Rose. Gary M wants Joanna fighting in a new weight. Victor says rematch. Wickedy says rematch. Yeah, she kind of does look like the alien from Splice, actually, when you bring it up. All right. Yeah, she has. Rose has improved as a fighter big time. And I've always said she's really underrated in terms of her striking and what she brings into the fight. All right, let's jump into the co-main event. And don't worry, guys. I'll get to the Deontay Wilder fight as well and the fights that happened there. But I want to go through what happened in MMA because a lot of crazy shit happened in MMA. If you guys are just tuning in, we just went ahead and spoke of the upset that happened between Rose Namajunas and Joanna Jędrzejczyk in New York at UFC 217. Go ahead and give us a follow really quick as well at FightUpTV on Instagram and on Twitter, and give me a follow as well at Hey It's Marcos V for both social media outlets. If not, go ahead and like our Facebook page as well. We're FightUpTV on Facebook, and those watching on Facebook, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/FightHub. Let's go ahead and move along now to this Cody versus TJ Dillashaw fight. So I was wrong. I'll admit it. When I'm wrong, I'll man up to it. I totally thought that Cody would beat TJ. I saw this fight as a very similar fight to the fight that he had with Dominic Cruz, seeing that TJ has a very similar style to Dominic Cruz, moves a lot in the same ways, uses lateral movement really well, pops in and out, and I felt that Cody would just wait and counter TJ, and I started seeing that fight go that way, and what happened in the end of the first round started me gaining confidence as to why I picked Cody, because he picked his spot the very last 10 seconds, and he caught him with a big punch, knocked Cody down. So when that happened, I was like, okay, my hunch was right. You know, it's going to go the same way as the Cruz fight, where you have a Dillashaw that's coming in instead of forcing Cody to go and chase after him. So it's very close that round up until that knockdown happened. I actually had Cody winning the first round. So then, at some point in the second round, they both just stand there and not stand there. Well, the exchange that happened, they both started standing. But you could see that TJ stopped moving as much, and he was putting more of his weight on his feet, and he's more willing to engage with Cody. So the kicks is what set up a lot of the troubles that Cody had, and they're sneaky ass kicks, man. He goes from the bottom and then he throws up, and they're very dangerous. Good way of setting up those kicks. If you take a look at the replay, because I played it in slow motion, because at first the first camera angle was kind of weird. I couldn't really see how the counter hook connected against Cody. All I remember is seeing his head going like that. And when you see somebody hit somebody and their head goes like that, like they're in trouble. You know that, oh shit, they're fucked. Like they're not gonna be in a good spot if they're able to get back up. Like they're gonna be really, really hurt. So why did that happen? I always like to think and look at video like, why did this person even get in that position in the first place to be countered like that? Or why did they get countered the way they did? So with this one, and it's the theme the whole night with the three main fights on this UFC card, he hooked and he had his hands down. If you look at the replay, his hands are way down where he throws his hook, TJ throws his hook, his hands happen to be down. If he had his hand right here, he would have caught a lot of the hook. Who knows if he would have fell down or not, but maybe it would have avoided him losing. Now, as to why he decided to stay there and trade with them, well, you know, he was waiting and counter. Cody's a counter striker. If you come from a boxing background and you look at this guy fight, right away you could tell, like, oh, this guy's a counter puncher. That's what he does. He'll wait. Counter punchers will wait for you to throw your best punches. They're already set, and they're just waiting for that one punch, that one moment to land the perfect punch to put you out. That's what that's why Cody had so much success against Dominic Cruz. Instead of him chasing Dominic Cruz, he forced Dominic Cruz to come to him, and Dominic Cruz paid the price. That's why he lost that fight, because instead of turning into the guy that usually makes people go after him, he in fact became the aggressor when people are usually the aggressor against him, and he's able to use his movement to make people look dumb, befuddled, move in and out. So, lesson to be learned once more. Keep your goddamn hands up, man. When you throw combinations, keep your hands up. Like, these people they need to drill and drill and drill and drill and drill this. Keep your hands up. We saw it a few weeks ago with Lyoto Machida. Didn't keep his hands up. Landed the straight, hands are down. Though, that's a very bad karate technique that they're taught. And same with Taekwondo. They always have their hands down, which it's terrible when you cross those guys over into MMA. They just keep their hands down. You time them well, you're going to catch them. If you feint them and time them, you're going to catch them. If you're in a combination or you allow them to throw a punch, in order for you to get an angle, slip, and land a punch, you're going to get hit. So that's what happens. which I don't know, which is gets me thinking, man. How are so many of these guys getting clipped with these punches, having their hands down? And a lot of these guys have very good, very knowledgeable striking coaches in their teams, and they're doing a lot of things that amateurs don't even do. So at this point, after the fight, I thought it was really cool to see Cody and TJ embrace. Even though there's still beef there, at least Cody was man enough to accept defeat, take it like a man. He wasn't a poor sport, and I think that says a lot about him and the character that he has. Because I think, given the history between the two, and if you'd put anybody else, they would have reacted a very different way. So I give a lot of props to Cody Garbrandt and taking that loss on the chin and displaying a lot of class and congratulating TJ Dillashaw for that win, because that situation could have turned completely sour in the wrong way, and it could have been a bad situation. But now here's my question to you guys that are watching right now. TJ said that Cody should work his way back up for a rematch. Do you guys agree or disagree with that? And would you rather see a rematch, or do you want to see this Mighty Mouse fight? So go ahead and let me know what you guys think. Go ahead and put your comments down. I'll wait for them to filter in, and then we'll go ahead and discuss more, and we'll move on to the GSP fight. And then, after the GSP fight, we will talk about Deontay Wilder's one-round destruction of Bermane Stiverne, who leaned back. Seen so many memes of Bermane Stiverne. I feel bad for him, man. God, the internet's a ruthless place when it comes to that sort of stuff. Remains undefeated up until this day. So let me know what you guys think. Should they rematch TJ and Cody, or should TJ go right into this Mighty Mouse fight? Let's see. I'm going to scroll through your guys' comments right now. Dark Cloud says Rockhold needs to listen to keeping your hands up. He never keeps his hands up. Let's see here. All right. George agrees. Counterpunching and shot anticipation is a very rare skill to come by in MMA. Yes, it is. It takes a long time, but I think it's just, I remember in our boxing gym, there's this guy that they called Mongoloid, because the trainers there thought he looked like a Mongoloid, and it's a term in Spanish. He looks like a very Neanderthal looking guy. And he would never keep his hands down. And they would get so irritated because they'd tell him, keep your hands up, keep your hands up, keep your hands up. And he would never keep his hands up. So they literally tied his right hand to his chin with the one of the bungee cords. So he would keep his hands in place. And that was the only way where he finally learned to keep his hands in place when he was boxing. JPH was surprised that so many people had Cody winning coming into the fight. All right, let's see. Gary M wants Mighty Mouse versus TJ. It's going to be a super fight. Wickedy Split says Cody couldn't even remember what happened. It's usually what happens when you get knocked out. You don't. It's like, if I were to get choked out right now, this would be the last thing I would remember, and then I'd wake up and be like, whoa, what the hell? Why am I here? Gary M wants Cody to fight the winner of Cruz Rivera. Dark Cloud says DJ wants no part of TJ. JPH says that Cody does not deserve an immediate rematch. Wow. Why not, man? He was the champ, no? Shouldn't the champ get a chance to reclaim his belt? If he's the world champion, he put in the work to become the world champion, so why shouldn't he get an opportunity to rematch for his belt? Let me know. Trevor Goodell, he wants TJ and Mighty Mouse to happen. Let's see here. Thank you, Trevor, by the way, for the love. I really appreciate it. Niall Finnegan, what's up, man? Hello from Ireland. Good to see you. Let's see. Joanna, Truth wants Joanna to get an instant rematch. Okay, and Truth brings up a good point. If Joanna gets an instant rematch, he feels that Cody and Bisping should get an instant rematch as well. And like I mentioned, if you're the world champion and you lose a fight, you already put the work in to become a world champion. Do you think that you should be given that opportunity because you were the world champion to get an immediate rematch against someone you lose a fight to? You can blame it in the management. Why not write a rematch clause in your contract so you can get a rematch? I don't know if they're allowed to do that in MMA. I know in boxing it's fairly prevalent. So let's see here. Gary M asked me, would you pay for the rematch? Yeah, I would actually. I'd like to see a rematch between TJ and Cody. I think it would be slightly different. I think Cody would be a little bit more careful, but he might end up being a little bit more aggressive in the fight too, actually, now that I think about it. All right, let's move on to the UFC main event, and then we will get to the Deontay Wilder fight. So, guys, bear with me. I am going to touch on the Deontay Wilder fight. Just bear with me, all right? Let me get through this UFC card, because this UFC card was freaking amazing. It was awesome. All new champions, 3 new champions all in one night. So we're still getting more of your guys' comments about the TJ stuff. C1981 feels that Mighty Mouse is actually going to give TJ problems. It says he's twice as fast, and the speed's going to be too much for TJ, even though TJ's really fast too. But obviously the smaller guy is going to be a bit faster than Dillashaw in that fight. JPH feels that because Cody was the champ, he earned an immediate rematch. But when TJ lost the belt to Cruz, it was super close, but he had to wait, which I felt it was kind of messed up because how close of a fight it was. People were split up. I felt that Dominic Cruz won that fight, but a lot of people felt that TJ won that fight. What fight? Wilder? Yes, Deontay Wilder was in a fight on Saturday. He knocked the guy out in 1 round, okay? So let's get to GSP so we can get to Deontay Wilder. Here are my notes on GSP. First off, I had picked GSP to win the fight. Why? Because I felt that GSP just had more skills in the tool bag, a little bit more versatile. I felt that his striking was a little bit stronger. But my big question was, could GSP be able to take Bisping down and keep him down? Because Bisping has highly excellent takedown defense. And if you do take Michael Bisping down, he's shown from time and time again consistently that he's able to not allow you to keep him down for a very long time, and he will come back up at some point. He springs up like a freaking slinky. And that's what happened in the fight. I think there's only just one instance where GSP was able to keep him down for more than 20 seconds, and I think it happened actually when he was hurt. No, it happened in the second round, I believe. That was the other time. But really, I was impressed by I was impressed by your performance. That's the thing that GSP always says. But I actually was extremely impressed with how George looked. For a guy that had a 4-year layoff, he didn't really show a lot of ring rust in there, man. That's an impressive thing, because usually you don't have a fight in 4 years, your timing is way off. Your rhythm is way off. You get tired quick. And GSP did get tired. He was huffing and puffing by that 3rd round, and you could tell there was a change in his body language. It started slumping down a little bit more, breathing a little bit heavier. His punches aren't as fast as crisp as they were before, and that was happening. But for the most part, George looked excellent. His jab was on point. He had more than to offer in the fight than just the jab. Usually GSP, because he's so limited when it comes to his boxing, just has the jab. But this time he showed his hook, his right hand. He slipped, countered over the top. When I saw that, I was like, that's Freddie. That's Freddie working with George. So he looked good with his boxing on that point. He added new tools, and he seemed more fluid with his striking. Usually you could tell like when a jab is coming with George, but this time it looked a little bit more fluid, and he's been working a lot to improve his striking game. Now, with that being said, I did see George be a little bit rusty. You guys might ask, well, where'd you see him rusty? You just said he looked good on on his boxing. They looked fluid. What are you talking about? The spinning back kicks. I felt they were extremely telegraphed when he did throw them. And there was a few occasions that he threw them. And before, George would jab and then immediately go into the spinning back kick. And this time he had to like step and he thought about it and then he threw it. Same thing with the roundhouse kick. So I think in anything, that was probably the only thing where his timing was a little bit off. He wasn't as fluid as he used to be when he would throw his spinning back kicks and his spinning roundhouse kicks. But with that being said, man, he just was extremely fluid, and you could tell that he improved a lot in terms of his boxing. He added a lot of new tools. And when did I start covering MMA? Shit. Well, I've trained in MMA my whole life pretty much. So I started boxing when I was like a little kid. Wrestling. So with that being said, third round. Why did Bisping get caught the way he did? Like I've been mentioning this whole entire time, it's a weird thing when you see the 3 main event fights and all the finishes in those 3 main event fights were because of the same punch, the hook. And why was that punch landed on those guys? Because they had their hands down. Once again, the hands were down. Bisping's hands were down. It was right over here. Look, can you see my hand? He was like over here. Well, I'm a southpaw. Sorry, I'll go this way. It's over here. It was wide open to get hit. His hands were down. He got hit with the hook. GSP pounced, choked him out. Did not see that outcut happening though. But these guys just gotta learn, man, and these trainers gotta just ingrain it in his head that gotta keep your hands up. Hold up, PJ and B. GSP got caught. Yeah, GSP did get caught. GSP got hurt in that fight, bro. There was... I saw 2 times where GSP was really hurt. One, he got countered with a straight right hand. And I could tell he was hurt because his feet weren't at... they weren't as fluid. They started getting very... what's the right word to say it? He wasn't as mobile. Like... It's like he got an electric shock and he's just like very stiff. There you go. I don't know why I can't think today. And stiff's not even a hard word to pronounce or say or anything like that. But he got caught with that right hand. He got very stiff. He got caught with another combination and he started backing away when George was the one who was coming forward and pressing the fight. So he did get hurt. And you know what? He did admit that Bisping hurt him in that fight as well. But... these guys got to keep their hands up, man. There's 3 main event fights in a row in which all those fighters got caught because their hands were low with the hook. So, no, it's not. It's not hard to keep your hands up in MMA. What are you talking about, man? Not at all. Not at all. You could still block takedowns, set up kicks, knees with your hands up. Just don't keep them down. You just don't keep them down. It's just bad technique. They got to drill more. They cannot. And even when they're throwing, here's the thing. Cody throws, hands down. Throws a hook, hands right here. Gets caught. Rose and Joanna, a little different situation. That's the same way that Canelo Alvarez was able to knock out Amir Khan. Feint, hands go down to block the punch, and it comes over, and you get hit. Rose did that. Feint, boom. The first one. The second one, it was like a lead hook. And just the hands were down. GSP and Bisping, same thing. Lead hook. The hands were down. There's an opening there. Boom. Got hit. So at this point, here's my question to you guys. And I've been, in a way, thinking about this on and off for a little bit. But with this win, and I know it's a completely different thing to win a title in a different weight class in MMA because there's such a big weight difference when you do move up a division. In boxing, it's usually every 5 pounds is a different weight class. In MMA, you go 145, 155, 175, 170, 185, 205. So it's a big gap difference. So I think this achievement means a lot more in MMA when you're a multiple weight world champion than someone in boxing who's a multiple weight champion. But with that being said, GSP coming back after a pretty close to a 4-year layoff. In your eyes, does that make him the GOAT, the greatest of all time? Regardless of the time off, regardless of the work that Demetrius Johnson put in with the title defenses, even though it's one weight class and he hasn't fought TJ yet. I think the TJ fight, if he wins that fight, he makes an even stronger argument. But does this win make George St-Pierre, in your opinion, the greatest of all time in MMA? And to list a few, here are the people in the conversation, even though because of the drug tests, Jon Jones has like a weird cloud over him. You got Jon Jones, considered by many to be the GOAT. You got Demetrius, considered by many to be the greatest. You got George St-Pierre. You got Anderson Silva. You got Fedor. So does this... Definitely Brendan Schaub is not the GOAT. He's maybe the GOAT of loving Conor McGregor. And you know what? A9JUL, I will answer your guys' questions right now. And I have been answering your guys' questions. But let me know if you think that George St-Pierre is the greatest of all time. Let me know right now. And we'll go ahead and discuss that. All right. You guys are answering. Let's go ahead and read your guys' responses. Let's see here. It's interesting. It's a very could be a very divisive thing because a lot of people will mention Jon Jones, but then the drug test. And you mentioned, you know, compared to everybody else, Jon Jones dominated all those opponents like nobody else did. Who's the only guy to dominate guys the way that Jon Jones has? Demetrius Johnson, Anderson Silva in his heyday. You know, George St-Pierre in his last fight against Johnny Hendricks struggled big time with Johnny Hendricks. So let's see here. Oh, how old I am? Why do you guys want to know how old I am? I'm 34, guys. All right. See, I answered your question. So let's see. Let's see how many GSP is the GOAT that I get here. All right. Let's see here. All right, we're starting right now. And Fight Gamer, yeah, we're getting to boxing right now. Don't worry. Dark Cloud thinks GSP is the GOAT. Oh, I knew it. We got one Jon Jones. Jon Jones is the GOAT. Gary M. GSP is the second best ever for me. Gary, if he is the second best ever, what will make him the first best? What does GSP need to do to be considered the GOAT, the greatest of all time in your eyes? Who does he need to fight, or what does he need to do to be considered over the person that you have as the GOAT right now in MMA? And who do you have as the GOAT in MMA right now? What's up, Jose? What's going on, bro? We're doing this on our YouTube channel as well. If you want to tune in on the YouTube channel, or if not, you could do it here. But I'm going to be looking at this camera here because I'm on my laptop. Okay. Jello GSP has Jello has JJ. I'm seeing Jon Jones, Anderson. I'm seeing a lot of Jon Jones. GSP the GOAT welterweight for sure. He is the GOAT welterweight. Let's see here. Someone put Artem. The Truth put Artem. Choo choo, motherfuckers. Choo choo. Gary got the Spider. Let's see. James Lopez has GSP as the GOAT because he went to a higher weight division, which is a big thing to do in MMA. Big thing. Nolan has Jon Jones. A9JUL says that DJ is not on roids while GSP and Jon Jones is on roids. Eesh. Let's see here. JPH has Jon Jones. JPH thinks he's the GOAT. Let's see here. Once again, Cain Velasquez, no steroids. So pretty much, I'm getting a lot of GSP is the GOAT. It's kind of mixed up. I'm getting a lot of GSP is, but I'm getting a lot of DJ from you guys as well. And then I'm also getting a lot of Jon Jones, even though a lot of you guys are bringing up Jon Jones and the steroid, the drug test, the failed drug test. All I gotta say is this: out of all those guys that are listed, DJ, John Jones, Anderson Silva, Fedor, GSP has an ace over all those guys. And seeing how big of a weight discrepancy there is in MMA in terms of the weight divisions, when if you go up a weight division, you're fighting a guy who's literally going to be probably 20 to 30 pounds more than you if you're coming from a smaller weight class. GSP is a multiple weight world champion. All those guys listed have only dominated one division. GSP now had dominated the welterweight division for a very, very long time. And then he goes and he fights a world champion who has wins over Anderson Silva, Dan Henderson, Luke Rockhold, and he beat him in a fight that was competitive, but he was winning. And that's the main caveat, is he did it in a different weight division after a 4-year layoff. So it's a strong argument for GSP to be included as the greatest of all time. Has he been as dominant as DJ has? You know, you can make an argument there too, but certainly he went up with no protest to fight for the middleweight title of the world. DJ is making all these claims and protests about fighting Dillashaw for money and all that, you know. So I think at this point you got to give GSP a lot of credit. Maybe he might have tipped the scales in terms of that argument. If you know, John Jones' career played out a little bit differently in terms of the drug test, I think bar none he would be considered that. And you know what? Maybe in due time he'll be able to clear his name up and we'll perceive him differently because of all that. But at this point, you know, it's right up there. John, DJ, GSP. But GSP certainly has a huge accomplishment over all those guys, in that he was able to win a second world title in a second weight division. And that is extremely, extremely difficult to do in MMA. So with that being said, you guys cool with this GSP versus Whitaker fight? Are you guys down to see it, or should GSP move down a weight class back to welterweight? What should GSP do? I'm going to let your questions go ahead and chime in, your responses. I'm going to go ahead and read them and see what you guys think. I'd like to see GSP in middleweight. You know, it's a funny thing. I know it's already been mentioned a lot. The times I've seen Freddie Roach at the wild card, and we do talk about George, and this was up until recently, up until the last time I saw him, because I didn't get a chance to see him prior to this fight. He'd always mentioned that George wanted to fight Conor McGregor, and I know there was a few stories out there that asking Dana White if we were going to see, potentially, just wishful thinking, a Conor McGregor versus Michael Bisping fight. George St-Pierre fight. I think GSP's way too big. I don't even know why that would be mentioned, but you know, GSP would have to meet him at 170. Conor already fought at 170 against Nate Diaz, but I think seeing that Conor's weakness happens to be the ground game, wrestling, I think GSP would take him down and keep him there, and wouldn't be able to really do anything, mount any offense on the ground. But I'm seeing already you guys are putting down that GSP should fight Whitaker and stay at middleweight. George saying, though, after the fight, that he doesn't know if middleweight's the right division for him, that he still feels he's very small for the weight, which he is. These guys are a lot bigger than George. George is a lot shorter compared to the other guys. So let's see here. Conor's weakness is fatigue and wrestling. Trust me, in wrestling. Conor's too small for GSP. He is. But I'm telling you, Freddie Roach has told me on a numerous amount of occasions that he's told me that George has specifically told him that he wants to fight Conor McGregor. Now, I didn't get a chance to bring this up to Freddie again in the last 6 months, but as of 6 months ago, this is what Freddie Roach was telling me about. So we'll see what happens. That, of course, that would be a mega fight, and now it seems the trend in MMA seems to be mega fights, which honestly I don't have a problem with. I know a lot of people had a problem with this Bisping versus GSP fight, which I don't understand why. It's not like there's the main problem, and I spoke to Luke Thomas actually about it and had a discussion with him about it, is Romero was the #1 contender. He had a right to fight Michael Bisping. I understand that, but you also got to understand your place if you're a fighter. Yeah, okay, you fought all the guys, you deserve a title shot, but have you done the things that George St-Pierre has done? This guy was the reigning welterweight champion, dominated for how long, was their biggest attraction up until the arrival of Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor. Did not get beat, retires, and then comes back. I think he's warranted a title shot. It's not like Bisping was fighting some bum or some guy like that's a chump. Yeah, he was small, but this was a dominant world champion. So I don't understand why people had a problem with this fight in the first place. Would a McGregor GSP fight be the biggest fight in MMA? I'm not sure, you know, because that Mayweather McGregor fight, could a George St-Pierre versus Conor McGregor fight get 4.4 million pay-per-view buys? You know what? I don't know. It'd be a huge fight. Does GSP have the name value of a Floyd Mayweather in terms with the casual fan, in terms with the persona that Floyd shows? No, I don't think so. I don't think, you know, if you were to ask a random person on the street, do you know who Floyd Mayweather is? And you'd ask him that same question, do you know George St-Pierre is? I think, you know, a lot more people would say Floyd Mayweather. And yeah, no, I understand that George St-Pierre has all of Canada, but the fights, the money is here in the U.S. A lot more people here in the United States, a lot bigger pay-per-view market here in the United States. So, you know, and they charge more for pay-per-views here in the United States as well. So, I don't know. That'd be interesting. It'd be a huge fight. You'd probably get 3 million buys. But I don't know if it would break the record for the May-Mac fight that it's set, or, you know, even break 3 million. Yeah, I could see it breaking 3 million, but I don't think it'll do more than that. But we'll see. And you know what? We might see Nate Conner Part 3 because of that image that they released last week where it showed that they were going to have a rubber match. All right, that takes care of MMA. We're done with MMA. We're going to go now into boxing. A lot of fights happened over the weekend, but the one that everybody is talking about, the Bronze Bomber, undefeated, 39-0 now with 38 knockouts. Deontay Wilder making Bermane Stiverne just lean back. Man, he kicked the crap out of him. I was not expecting that whatsoever. I thought Deontay would win, but not in the first round. I thought it would go like maybe 6 or 7 rounds, but he put him out with the first real punch that he put into that. Same thing with when he fought El Gallo Negro, freaking Gerald Washington. Same thing. The first real punch that Deontay Wilder landed, out. He was out. So I'll get into that MMA office because Deontay Wilder will present a lot of problems to Anthony Joshua. And that's the talk right now. With how Deontay Wilder looked, how would he do against an Anthony Joshua? And I'm going to bring that point up because Deontay Wilder has 2 very distinct advantages in that fight that will do very well against an Anthony Joshua. But I just want to touch on this, the Deontay's fight against Berman. The 3 minutes, the 3-minute fights, the 1-round fight. I was surprised, but I felt that in those 3 minutes, you can see that Deontay displayed an excellent jab, which he has, but now it's a very whipping, powerful jab. He displayed once more that this dude, I think out of all the heavyweights in the heavyweight division, I think Deontay Wilder has the most blunt, brute force punch out of all of them, in which I think he's the most powerful and the most dangerous in terms of power. I think out of all of them, he possesses that, which is a weird thing. Because when you look at Deontay Wilder, you look at his frame, and you're like, dude, where does this power come from? Because he has really skinny legs. He's a tall, lanky guy. But it's always the tall, lanky guys that are able to generate the most power because of torque. And because they're tall and lanky, they're able to shift their hips more and use more of their body weight in their punches because they're not overly muscular. When you're overly muscular, it doesn't allow as much flexibility in any of your natural movements as opposed to someone who has lean muscle. And Deontay Wilder is that. He's a very lean guy. But still, it just gets me wondering, like, man, for a guy whose legs aren't that big, where do you get all this power? And it's God-given, man. It's God-given, and boy can punch. And, man, he knows how to move his hips. He just, been doing it for so long that it's amazing how much power he's able to generate. I want to, if it's ever possible, to get like one of those punching machines where you could like record the PSI of a punch. I'd love to get that on Deontay Wilder, man. I want to see like per square inch, how many pounds per square inch he's going to go and get that on that fight. I mean, on that machine. The other thing that I looked at Wilder and I was like, hey, you know what? I didn't know that he could move that way, the way he did. It was, I believe it was setting up the final knockdown when Deontay stepped offline, lateral movement, and then landed the big hook. I didn't think he was that mobile the way he was. And I think also, outside of Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder probably has one of the better footworks of a heavyweight fighter in boxing right now. A very agile, very athletic guy, and you don't see a lot of it, but it's there. And he showed a little glimpse of it in that fight against Bermane Stiverne. You guys been seeing the memes of Stiverne? Oh, man, that's... like, I understand, like, the memes are, like, funny. Like, it gets you a quick laugh, but then again, like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like you go a little too far. Like, especially with, like, the Pacquiao memes when that happened, man. I was there. I remember distinctly when Marcus landed that punch on Manny, dude. I just saw two legs just go bloomp. And I was just like, oh, shit. Then I remember looking to the right of me, and I see Manny's wife just going ballistically crazy. She was frantic. And I was just like, oh, shit. Bob Arum went and grabbed her, was holding her back. Everybody from Top Rank on press row had this look on their face as if Manny had died. Now, I still remember it. I remember one of the PR people made their way towards us, and he just had this look. Like, everybody was extremely concerned. I understand the memes. It's funny. It gets a good laugh, but sometimes they do go a little far. So a lot of the memes I've seen of Stiverne, they're funny, but at some point you gotta like know when to stop, because the dude has a family, people that love him, and that's gonna get thrown in his face from now till years and years and years. He's always gonna get that picture of him sent to him for a very long time. I feel bad for him. Only in America, right? All right, big question. And I'm going to ask all you guys. I need all you guys to answer this for me, because this is the main discussion here. From what we saw of Deontay Wilder and what he showed in the fight with the jab, with the straight right hand, with the foot movement, will he beat Anthony Joshua? Give you guys a moment to think, to play out the fight in your head. Give me your responses. We'll go ahead and chat about that right now while I touch on Sean Porter against Adrian Granados. Beat the crap out of Adrian Granados. Granados has a chin. I did not know. I don't know how he didn't get knocked out. I thought Porter would stop Granados via body work, to be honest. You know, Granados needs to stop fighting at welterweight. He needs to go back down to 140. These guys are just way too big for him. He goes back to 140, he's going to win a lot of fights. Granados is good. You know, he has really good timing with his punches. It's just he hasn't been able to get a break, man. Hard fight to hard fight to hard fight to hard fight. I feel bad for him, man. He's gone through the gauntlet of very hard opponents. Sergey Lipinets against Akihiro Kondo was a good fight. I thought it was a lot closer than what the judges had it. I like Lipinets. If you guys haven't heard of Sergey Lipinets, this guy's a very action TV-friendly fighter. So every time he fights, make sure to tune in because his fights are never boring. They're always really exciting. You had Bivol on HBO. Knocked the guy out in 1 round. I'm still not sold on him yet. I still think at this point Beterbiev is the better fighter at this point. And I think Beterbiev could be the future of the division. But Bivol, little by little, that rhymes, Bivol and Livel. Little by little, if he keeps getting these knockout victories, I think he's going to make me into a believer. But I think it's still too early for this point for Bivol. I still like Beterbiev as the guy to watch in the light heavyweight division. So now we're going to get to your guys' responses with Wilder and Anthony Joshua. Hello, Facebook. We're actually doing this live stream via YouTube. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and do so. YouTube.com/FightHub. Follow us as well at FightHub TV on Twitter and on Instagram, as well as me. Hey, it's Marcos V on Twitter and Instagram. Excuse me, guys. All right, let's get to your guys' responses. There's a lot of them, man. So this is a really trending big topic amongst boxing fans. Who's gonna win this fight? I just hope we don't get a situation where it's like Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis, where like they're circling and circling and circling, and the fight doesn't get made. Even though I don't think so, because both guys fight on Showtime. Shouldn't be a problem there. And I think when push comes to shove, what they're doing right now is just negotiating. You know, whenever you hear people mentioning other people, it means they're negotiating. So they're negotiating right now, even though it's being done through the press. You know, they're trying to get the right footing. But let's see what happens. We hope that we'll get the fight in 2018. I could see it getting stretched out to 2019 to kind of try to build up the fight. But hopefully we get it sooner than later. But AJ or Deontay Wilder, let's go. Let's go through your guys' responses, and then we will discuss all of this. Jello, yeah, I heard about Robert. I heard that nothing happened. That he was questioned by the cops, and then they let him go. Yeah, his son said that they let him go. So, MMA Office feels that AJ's the better boxer, better cardio's Deontay Wilder, better chin Deontay Wilder. Though we've never seen Deontay Wilder get really hit clean, right? I haven't seen anybody really land a really clean punch on him. So, you know, maybe he doesn't have a good chin. We don't know. I've never seen him get hit flush, actually, by somebody, because a lot of the guys that he's fought up to this point, he's been taller and longer than, you know. And obviously, Joshua at this point has fought the better competition than Deontay Wilder. But, you know, we'll see. Time will tell. Dark Cloud thinks AJ will pick Wilder apart. Why? Why do you think he'll pick him apart? I'm curious to hear as to why. List your reasons, too, as to why you think the other guy will win and how you see the fight playing out. I'm really interested to see what you guys think about that. Moose Ibrahim. Wilder has power, but come on, Stiverne was inactive and unfit for 2 years. Plus Wilder against a top heavyweight, and he'll be blown away. I don't know, do you guys agree with Moose? I don't know. James Lopez, thank you, man. I really appreciate it, bro. Thanks for the support. George feels that Wilder came in smart for the fight behind a much improved jab. And that's the one thing that really stuck out to me, that his jab looked extremely snappy, extremely dangerous. And this is something that I wanted to get into, but because you mentioned it, George, I'm just going to go jump into it. I think that's the main weapon that Deontay Wilder could have against a fight with Anthony Joshua. You saw in the Klitschko fight. Klitschko landed a lot of jabs, And when Klitschko landed clean straights, look what happened to Joshua. He got hurt. He got put on the floor. I'm telling you guys this. If Deontay Wilder lands a 1-2 on Anthony Joshua, he will knock him out. No, I have no doubt about it. If he lands that 1-2 on Joshua, it's over. He's done. He wins the fight. And if Deontay Wilder works his jab, mixes the 1-2, and he's able to have distance in there, Deontay Wilder is going to do a lot better than what people think he's going to do against that Anthony Joshua fight. Even though I do agree with the majority of people that say that overall Anthony Joshua is the better boxer, because Anthony Joshua has more tools in his tool bag than a Deontay Wilder. But Deontay Wilder makes up for it because he has a very excellent jab, and he has the most important weapon that's very excellent, and it is the jab. And he has just game-changing blunt force power in his straight right hand. And if he's able to set up the jab, crouch, and land the straight, it's lights out for Anthony Joshua. You know, that Klitschko fight showed that if you have a good jab and a good 1-2, that Anthony Joshua is very susceptible to those punches. Now, would Wilder beat someone like a Klitschko? I don't know. That's a tough fight. That's a tough fight for anybody. Klitschko was sharp that night. But let's see what else you guys are saying. Man, I'm happy there's so many of you guys that are responding to this. This is a really good discussion to have because a lot of people are going back and forth. We've been doing polls on our Instagram, and it's been 70-30 for Anthony Joshua. So there's a lot of people that feel that Anthony Joshua would beat Deontay Wilder. Let's see here. I'm going to try to read off a majority of your guys' responses to this. Damn, you guys wrote a lot of stuff. All right, I'm just going to go here. All right. Guillermo Fernandez has Wilder winning by KO. And I could see that. If Wilder's going to win, I think it could be via KO. You know what, though? Wilder can go 12 rounds. And the time, you know, against Stiverne, when he went 12 rounds, he didn't look tired. When he went 8-9 rounds with the Polish dude, he didn't look that tired as well. You know, so I think maybe Wilder has a better gas tank than Anthony Joshua. Moose thinks that AJ has no chin. Is that Wilder has a worse chin than AJ? We've never seen Wilder get hit flush, though. What makes you say that he has a worse chin? When has he gotten rocked? Wilder got knocked out in the amateurs by a smaller guy. True. You know, but that was the amateurs. It's the pros. He's grown into his body. He's a lot better, a lot more confident. So, let's see here. Wickedy Split says Deontay Wilder kills AJ easily, but why? I want to hear why. Why do you think one or the other will win easily? Dark Cloud feels that AJ is too technical for Deontay. Moose thinks AJ would knock out Wilder in the 6th round. PJB says AJ within 6 rounds, TKO or KO. Wilder's too small. In terms of like muscle? Because in terms of height and reach, I think Deontay might have a longer reach than Anthony Joshua. MMA Office says if Anthony Joshua does not knock out Deontay Wilder, Wilder will knock him out. Jello feels that it could be a distance fight and maybe TKO due to fatigue, which I can see totally as well. Gary M says that AJ is the more technical boxer. Easy points win. Nole feels that Wilder is extremely sloppy. Joshua's more textbook, which is true. Joshua is the more technical fighter. He has more tools at his disposal. He's shown more variety in his attack in the fights up to this point. Guillermo Fernandez thinks KO 3rd or 4th round by Wilder. Wow. Dude, imagine that if these guys fight, okay? And it's in England. You got 90,000 there, and Deontay Wilder knocks him out via KO in 3 or 4 rounds. Imagine that. Jesus, that would be insane. But you know what? Deontay's going to beat him, and he's going to knock him out. He's going to do so with the 1-2. And Deontay's 1-2 is a thing of beauty. And here's the other thing, too. Deontay Wilder has a better corner. I dropped my pen. Hold on a second. Let me try to get my pen. But Deontay Wilder has a better corner. He has a gold medal Olympian in Mark Breland, who was an excellent fighter as well, hell of a trainer. And you know, Wilder's corner is a lot better. I think they have better boxing minds than Anthony Joshua's corner. Even though Rob McCrackalacken is a very good trainer, and sometimes I don't think he gets enough credit for the job that he's done with other fighters as well. I think that Deontay's corner is a lot more experienced and has a lot more knowledge than the corner of Anthony Joshua. And you know what, Nole, you're right. Wilder at this point hasn't fought anybody, but you know what? It's not Wilder's fault. He wanted to fight Alexander Povetkin. Look what happened there, the drug test. Wanted to fight Luis Ortiz. Look what happened there, the drug test. You know, so it's not Deontay's fault. He wants to fight these guys. They just keep getting popped for steroids, you know. It's just a very unfortunate thing. So I think in terms of that, when people bring that topic up, that Deontay Wilder doesn't fight anybody, he doesn't want to fight anybody, false. That's not true. He tried to fight Povetkin in Russia. Gets blasted. Drug test. He was going to fight Luis Ortiz. Gets blasted for a drug test. Those are two elite top 5 guys in the heavyweight division. You know, if those fights would have happened and Deontay would have won, I think a lot of people would say that Wilder was the one that fought the better competition than Anthony Joshua, because up until this point, the only good fighter that Anthony Joshua has fought is Vladimir Klitschko. And even though, yeah, he was the best heavyweight of the last 10 years, it says a lot. He's only really fought one really, really good fighter up to this point. PJ&B says McCracken's overrated. Why is he overrated, dude? All right, this guy has a really funny. You have a really funny name, dude. So it's Peanut Butt McCrackers. Brings up the point that he thinks it's ironic that the Brits make fun of Wilder's style when Joshua's so robotic and stiff. Though you got to give it to Anthony. He's not as robotic and stiff as he was before. He's looking like he's more fluid now. He's not as you know, like, I remember I saw his fight with White. I think I saw his fight with White. And that was the first thing that I felt when I saw him was, geez, this guy looks like a superhero, but like, he's so telegraphed, so plump, I'm the Hulk, I will cry, like that, you know, like. But over the course of those fights that he's had, and especially with the Klitschko fight and this last fight with Takam, he's a lot more fluid with his movement now. He's become a lot more technical, and he's not as robotic and stiff as he was before. Yeah, well, and that's the crazy thing about that punch. I'm not saying he's completely fluid. I'm saying he's a lot more fluid. He's not as stiff as he was before. The crazy thing with the Deontay Wilder fight, dude, Bermane Stiverne had a high guard, and he was blocking the fight. I mean, the punches. And that jab, because it was so hard and so much torque on it, split open the guard and allowed him to land that straight right hand. That tells you something, man, that Deontay has so much pop and torque on these punches that one punch he lands and boom, it's lights out, you know? Yeah, Dylan Dennis could be the next big heavyweight, my ass. Come on. Come on, get out of here, man. So, give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and end the Facebook live chat. All right, it's done. Now, my attention is slowly and surely onto you guys over here on YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in so far. If you haven't done so, go ahead and like our Fight Up TV fan page on Facebook. It's at Fight Up TV. If you can, go ahead and subscribe to us as well at Fight Up TV on Instagram and on Twitter. Go ahead and follow me as well at Hey It's Marcos V on Twitter and on Instagram, as we're talking a bit more about the potential fight with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. and if we feel the fight will happen in 2018. I could see it happening in 2019. I honestly think that a fight between Joshua and Fury is a lot bigger fight worldwide than a fight with Wilder and Anthony Joshua. But I will say this. There is now a shift in boxing. The conversation has finally gone back to what we've seen as boxing's money-making and glamour division, which is the heavyweight division. It's alive. It's kicking. There's a lot of good heavyweights now, and that's good for the sport of boxing. It's good because people like to see these big guys beat the crap out of each other, and we know it takes one punch to end a fight in the heavyweight division. So you're seeing little by little boxing has been on a come up the last few years. When a lot of people still say that boxing's dead, that boxing is a niche sport, a casual sport, which in many respects it is a niche sport, far from dead. I don't know how you can be a dead sport. You fill up stadiums with 90,000 people, 70,000 people, 25,000 people. If you're able to fill up stadiums, your sport is not dead. And I think the people that say that are extremely misinformed about where the sport of boxing is. Back to what I was saying. That Fury fight, well, you know, when I look at these things too, you know, I imagine you're Eddie Hearn, and you're like, okay, you're planning out the next year for Anthony Joshua, and your job as a promoter is to make the biggest fights for your guy and for your company. And when you mean biggest, it means you put on the events that'll make your fighter and your company the most amount of money. So when you look at it, you got to think like, okay, what are my options then? Who could Anthony fight in England that would be the biggest fight and attract the most money? Or strategically put him in the path where he's able to make, I don't want to say a quick buck, but hey, why not make a quick $20 million against a guy in a very winnable fight that'll set you up and guarantee you more money against another fighter? So I could see this trajectory of Anthony Joshua happening. I could see AJ going to fight Parker, and I'm writing this down. He wins the WBO title, even though I think Parker is a very good heavyweight, a lot of speed, and we saw that Takam gave Anthony Joshua a lot of trouble with that movement in terms of Joshua being able to time it and get his rhythm right. And Parker, that's what I love about Joseph Parker. For heavyweight, this guy has fast hands, and he throws a lot of combinations to be able to move in and out. And that's a very great attribute to have if you're a heavyweight fighter. Thing is, he's undersized for the division. So I can see AJ going into a fight with Parker, then going into a fight with Tyson Fury, and then going into Deontay. Tyson Fury, guys, whether we like it or not, is a bigger fight for Anthony Joshua than Deontay Wilder. And given that Joshua is not in a hurry to go to the United States and have fights, and he's already selling out arenas at home. And now Vincent, yeah, we talked about UFC 217. We spent we spent like about 47 minutes talking about UFC 217. My bad, bro. You got here a little late. But I don't see, you know, if I was Eddie Hearn, there'd be no reason for me to fight Deontay Wilder next. When I know that Tyson Fury is out there, that would make my guy a lot more money. Even though, you know, there's a lot of questions on Tyson Fury. An in-shape Tyson Fury, if he would have fought Anthony Joshua, that version, after that Klitschko win against Anthony Joshua now, I would favor Tyson Fury. But we don't know where Tyson Fury's at this point. No, you did not miss the Dragon Ball Super Talk. We'll finish it off with the Dragon Ball Super Talk, which I saw the episode yesterday. Had a lot of questions about it with the stupid fusion and how these power levels go. We'll touch on that just for you, bro. But I think at this point, it's a fight that makes a lot of money. You're getting Tyson Fury at a very vulnerable moment in time because you don't know where he is mentally, or if he's going to be able to lose the shape. His big advantage, Tyson Fury, was his movement, and because he gained so much weight, you don't know if he's going to move the same way as he did back in the Klitschko fight. So I could see them moving in that direction. If not Parker next, them going to Tyson Fury, and then going to Deontay Wilder. I could see Wilder going and fighting White. If not Dylan White, Ortiz, or Parker if Team Joshua goes and chooses to get Tyson Fury out of retirement. So that's how I see it. You guys are split, I want to say 60-45 with Joshua and Deontay Wilder. A lot of you guys pointing out that Anthony Joshua is just... Come on, Moose. Don't say shit like that. A lot of you guys pointing out that Anthony Joshua is a lot more technical than Deontay Wilder. He's a lot more versatile. Has a better chin than Deontay Wilder. But those guys that are saying Deontay Wilder will win are saying because of the 1-2. Because of what happened in the Klitschko fight. When Klitschko was having success with the jab and the 1-2, that Deontay Wilder has just as good of a jab, and if not more power than Vladimir Klitschko. And if he lands that punch, he will give Anthony Joshua a quick trip to the canvas. I like to think that too. If Deontay Wilder lands a clean 1-2, Joshua's not going to get up from that. It's going to be lights out, you know. So we've gone on an hour and 16 minutes, you guys. This has been the longest live chat. I really appreciate it, guys. I'm glad you guys tuned in. Remember, we do these every Monday from 2 o'clock, even though today we started early at 1:30, 2 Pacific time, till when we go ahead and finish it up. So next week, make sure to tune in to this same channel at 2 o'clock Pacific time, where we'll go ahead and just have another live chat and talk about whatever things you want to talk about in the world of combat sports. And with that, I'm going to leave it on one final topic. Knowing me, guys, I'm a man of many different interests, many different tastes, and one of those tastes happened to be Dragon Ball Super, which I watched over the weekend. I'm a nerdy dude, guys. I grew up on video games, playing games. It was wrestling and video games. That was my life from 8 years old up until college, you know. So I'll just leave it on the Dragon Ball Super point. I thought it was a good episode, but it kind of got me thinking, like, wait a second. Yeah. Dragon Ball again. That's right. This is what it left me thinking when I saw this last episode on Dragon Ball Super. All right. So Goku. Okay, let me because it really bugs the shit out of me that they're able to do this. All right. So he goes Super Saiyan Blue in the next episode, and I'm reading that he's supposed to lose the fight. He's supposed to lose because he's not fully healed up. Yeah, Arthur. That's how they... Okay. So how does the fusion between a Saiyan who's Super Saiyan 2 and one who's just Berserk Super Saiyan, which is not even... how do you even categorize that power level? Okay. You fuse the two, and that beats Super Saiyan God form, Super Saiyan Blue. It doesn't make sense to me. I understand that Super Saiyan Berserk, when Goku turned Super Saiyan Blue, and what's her face, Kale, went Berserk Saiyan, Goku couldn't even handle it. I understand that, but I just don't get how Super Saiyan 2 and Kale are stronger than a Super Saiyan Blue. It just these power levels get me confused. Like I just don't understand how that form is stronger than that as Super Saiyan Blue. So that's the only thing that I gotta say about that. Even though, yeah, I know Goku's God. Yeah, that's the thing that bugs me. It's like, what the hell? Like, how, if he's in his God form, all right? How is it? Because Berserk Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2 is not even close to being God form, dude. Like, so how is it when they fuse, it surpasses Goku at Super Saiyan Blue? It makes no sense to me. Other than, okay, yeah, Goku's fatigued he's not at full Super Saiyan Blue. That's the only way where I'm like, okay, I'm okay with it. But otherwise, you should get him. Power level should not be where it is. I get perplexed with this series sometimes, you know. Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. When he went berserk, you know, but and then there's the Ultra Instinct part. You know, when is he gonna do that again? And then there's people saying that Vegeta has Ultra Instinct or some new God form. Those two little insects from Universe 4 are still out there. Yeah, Moose, it's just Fight Hub. Just look it up on just subscribe. There'll be a subscribe button at the end of this, or on the description. There's a little thing on the right hand corner that says subscribe. There's still those two little insects from Universe 4. The robots supposedly are supposed to merge to create some like Super Warrior. So I sound like a Joshua fight fan. No. Vincent, man, I'm just bummed, man. Gohan used to be such a badass, and now they made him into like a little wimp. It's terrible. It kills me, and I'm still like hoping that somehow Gohan gets like a new form, or that he's able to redeem himself, because honestly, he looks like a little bitch. This whole series, he's been a little bitch. He sucks now. Gohan's washed up. It pisses me off because Gohan was like a prodigy, you know? Like, he was a badass when he was a teenager. And like, how do you go from there to like being such a wussy now? It pisses me off. Oh, you don't understand like how bad it pisses me off. Exactly. Bring back the real Gohan, man. Nah, I think Jiren's going to end up winning the tournament, but I think the tournament's either going to get interrupted or they're going to wish back all the universes. That's what I think is going to happen, but we'll see. We'll see. But I got a lot of shit to do, guys. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I haven't uploaded any videos for you guys whatsoever. And I got a laundry list of stuff to do. So I appreciate everybody who tuned in for the live chat. It was actually the best one we've had up to this point. Just remember, we do them every Monday. And yeah, Vincent, I agree with that hashtag, bro. We do these every Monday. So come back and visit us next Monday at 2 o'clock Pacific time for the next live chat. Unless, yeah, Jay, we were talking about Dragon Ball Super, the last episode that happened, and how much of a little bitch Gohan's become, man. It pisses me off, dude. But I got to end the live chat. I got to do a lot of work now. So go ahead and follow me at Hey It's Marcos V on Instagram and on Twitter. Follow our Fight Up account on social media as well. At Fight Up TV on Instagram and Twitter, and then give us a like on Facebook at Fight Up TV on Facebook. Thank you guys, really appreciate it. Till next Monday, have a good week, have a productive week. We'll have videos from this Danny Jacobs versus Luis Cuba Arias coming up for you as well. So there's another fight that we're going to be discussing next Monday, and it will be the Danny Jacobs return fight. First fight he's had since fighting against Triple G, Gennady Golovkin. He's fighting a guy that's a lot smaller than him. But we'll see what kind of fights Cuba brings to the table. I have an interview with John David Jackson. He says a lot of good stuff about Luis Arias, as well as a lot of good headlines. Like, he talks a lot of shit about Danny Jacobs. So look for that as well. I will probably upload that today, actually, right after this. So look for that as well. So thank you guys. Really appreciate it. This wraps up our Fight Up TV live chat for this week. Make sure to tune into us every Monday at 2 o'clock Pacific time, where we will do this, where we interact with you guys and we discuss the happenings in the world of combat sports, Dragon Ball Super, and just whatever random things that come to my mind. All right, guys, take care. Have a good, productive week. I hope you guys had a fun weekend, and take it easy and take care of yourselves, guys. Goodbye.